day one, we learned about what is HTTPS, what is cookies, what is sessions, everything that we can find internally to the browser. Like it might be a session storage, a local DB, and how things are stored in the browser, how we can manipulate it, how we can view the browser, what are the plugins available to view the data, view the content. So that's how we ended with the day one, and let's now talk about day two. Now, as part of day 2, the ELF strikes back, the web exploiting. We have learned that what are the parameters of the URL, like what is HTTP, what is HTTPS, what is the extension, what is the .com, what is .in, what is the body part, all about URLs. Followed by which we have learned something about like how to filtrate this validations. Like we have a specific mime types that has to be followed while uploading the file, so those kind of filtration how we can bypass, so those filtration we have learned, followed by which the main and major topic that was the reverse shell. So we did the reverse shell exploitation using the PHP, like PHP reverse shell, and then we had a checklist. Okay, this is how the step should start. Okay, for, the step one is should we have to find the directory where we can upload a file, so that the remote code execution can happen, followed by which a reverse connection can be formed. So at the target end we have the file uploaded and executed, but I mean at the target end the file is uploaded and executed, but the host from which this attack is happening, there something should be listening consistently so that the actual connection can be made. So for that we used a netcat using the nc command lines, and then that's how we were waiting. At some point we did some small change configurations and the end-to-end connection was formed, that is the reverse shell. So that's how we used the reverse shell. We used PHP to form a reverse shell, and that's how we ended the day 2. And that is the first time that we did reverse shell as part of this Christmas streak. As part of day 3, the Christmas chaos, we have learned what is authorization, what is authentication, what can be exploited if we stick with the default credentials, what are different kind of loopholes. So all that thing with respect to authorization, authentication, the differences, the concept, and about this default credentials we have learned. Finally, making use of this concept and the tool called burp suit, we have used a sniper attack for the first time. So this was day 3, the Christmas chaos, and we used the sniper attack using burp suit for the first time. So we were giving our own payload and we are trying to overcome whatever the login page was there. So that's how we understood the concepts and we have exploited it using the burp suit tool, and we that's how we were done with the day 3, the Christmas chaos, which was also the part of the web exploiting. As part of day 4, the Santa's watching, we have learned about what is GoBuster, the directory explorer tool. So it's if you have come across the DirBuster, which the name itself is suggesting it is for directory exploration, that the directory buster, it's to reveal, to identify what are all the directories paths are available for any kind of server. So that's how the GoBuster is simply a command or the non-GUI version of the DirBuster. So we have tried to use a web server giving as an input of this GoBuster, and we find out what are all the paths available even without visiting the web page. Just like if we visit the web page, we can see in the HTTP history what are the sitemap is formed is in the burp suite. But similarly, without even visiting even a single page, we can simply give what is the URL word and some required values in the GoBuster, and we can get all the directories and all such sitemap kind of information. So that was about GoBuster, followed by which we have learned about WFuzz. I don't know how we pronounce, but yeah, we can simply say WFUZ, the WFuzz. So in that we try to give a URL and we say okay, replace the WFuzz word with the payload that I am giving, and for every request that is made, a value will be replaced with the WFuzz in the URL and we'll get the response. Now based on the response we can identify which was a successful response, which was a failed response, and based on that we can go further. So that's how we can say Santa is watching the response. So the name of this lab of the day 4 is the Santa's watching, and it was a part of web exploitation again. So this was day 4 and we did completed it successfully. As part of day 5, someone stole Santa's gift. Okay, so this was the title, and it is again the part of the web exploitation. So in this way, first time we heard about something called SQLi. We know what is SQL. Now SQLi is SQL injection, and we on this day, on day 5, that someone stole Santa's gift. On that day, we try to understand what is SQLi, what is different types of SQLi. So, for example, the what is blind SQLi and all such types. And since we are good with the concept, next we moved on to the exploitation part. So for the exploitation part, we try to understand, okay, what is the logic, what is the reasoning that is happening behind the scene when we are trying to exploit SQLi. But again, since we already know what is the logic at this point, we then moved on to a tool called SQL map. Okay, so it is simply doing all this manual tasks for us. So it's basically trying to find out all kinds of SQLi, all kinds of SQL exploits that is possible with the web server. So we simply need to give the web server, and it is trying to find out for us. But again, this is only for newbies that we go for tools. But once we got the good grip, we can find out more on ourselves, because a tool is made once, and every day there are new kinds of SQL exploits which are coming. So if we are using tool, that's good, but we should try to stick to do it manually for some special cases, maybe not for every small thing. So yeah, that's all those points we can keep in mind before using the tool. So in this day, we use the SQL map and try to identify what are SQL exploit that is possible in the given server. So that was all about this day. Day 6. Be careful with what you expect or what you wish on a Christmas night. So this was again the part of web exploitation. Now what we have learned here is that what is cross-site scripting. This is the first time that we are learning about cross-site scripting in the streak of 25 days. So day 6 was one of the crucial day. So here we understood what is cross-site scripting, we understood what are the types of cross-site scripting, and then we tried to exploit each one of them. And finally, because we know what is the logic behind cross-site scripting and what are the types of cross-site scripting, we then understood that, okay, so this is something that we are doing it manually, so what can we can we automate it? Then we went for the tool called OWASP tool. So in this tool, we again, just like SQL map, we are giving the web server, and then we are asking the tool to detect all kind of cross-site scripting, and the list will be shown, and based on that we can proceed further. But again, before using tool, we need to keep again the points in mind that we have discussed at the end of day 5, all about like what to keep in mind before using the tools. Okay, so that was the end of what to wish, like be careful before wishing anything on Christmas, something like that. Okay, so let's move on to the next day. The day 7, regarding the networking, the Grinch really did steal the Christmas. So here, as part of the first networking day of our streak, we learned about what are different protocols. Mainly we discussed about the TCP protocol, the UDP protocol, and then the SMB protocol, which protocol is meant for which operating system, or is it like globally. So we understood what is networking, how different protocols work, what is the logic behind protocol, why protocol is existing in the first place. So after all that discussion, we learned about how the packet analysis can be done, and that's where we understood the logic, we understood the concept, we understood the theory behind the packet analysis. We called it as PCAPS. Now once that is done, then we move on to the automation part. So here we are learning about the tool called the Wireshark. So in the Wireshark, again we again a use case was given, a challenge was given. Now as part of that challenge, we were using Wireshark, and we were trying to understand how we can do the packet analysis. So that's how we came to the tool, and we finally solved the challenge by using the Wireshark tool. So let's move on to the networking next day, that is the day 8. Continuing the streak of this 25, on day 8 we understood the headline, the one liner was what's under the Christmas tree. Now as part of this, we basically get the insight that, okay, what is actually under the tree, like what's actually under the server. So here we try to understand what are different types of scan, what is Nmap scanning, what is SCP scanning, and what are different types of TCP scans. We did the SYN scan, we did connect scan, and this was just the service level scan. So we have also shared the links of what are the different kinds of links that are present, what are different types of scan that can be present. So that was all about the Nmap. We learned about different flags, and after the scanning part, we learned what are the different scripts that we get with along with the nmap. So that those scripts are called NSE, nmap script engines. So then we try to understand which script to be used at what time, what are different kinds of scripts, what are different categories of scripts that come along with the nmap, and then we learned about how we can execute each nmap, and nmap what flags are used, nmap what scripts are used, what options to be used when, what kind of scripts to be executed. So basically the nmap, the flags, the script, and we practically used some of them apart from only the conceptual understanding. So that was about what's under the Christmas tree. As part of day 9, that is again the day of networking, and the headline was anyone can be Santa. So, as part of this day, we learned about okay, what is file transfer protocol, abbreviated as like FTP. Okay, now when to use it, what are the default ports, whether it is possible to do anything with the port shifting, and what are the different connections, that when to use it and when to not, and then followed by which we actually made a FTP connection and we did the file transfer. So FTP, file transfer protocol. So this is FTP we are learning, like this was the first transfer protocol that we were learning about. That's why we were not talking about any differences. In the coming days we were learning about different transfer protocols, and then there we were trying to differentiate between the FTP and the other transfer protocol. So that was all about the FTP, the day 9 of the Christmas tree, and this day was dedicated to the networking again. As part of day 10, which is called as don't be selfish or don't be selfish, we understood what is NFS, what is SMB. So here NFS was for Linux, SMB was for Windows, and then finally we were learning about what is Samba. And now if we see why Samba came into the market in the first place, and then what is the difference between Samba and the existing one, that is NFS and SMB, and then why Samba gained so much popularity so quickly, and why everyone was using it. And finally once we understood all this, then we went on to Samba client. So to actually use its services, to actually have Samba in the command line, and after doing all this, then we finally went for the first time for the enumeration. Now this for enumeration, like since this enumeration was the first time that we were doing as part of the Christmas tree, we spent some time on understanding what is enumeration, why it is important, and the first time we used a tool, a script for enumerating all for us. So that was enum for Linux script. So this was the first time that we were doing any kind of thing which was related to enumeration, and by the end of this day we were done with the different SMB, NFS, Samba client, and finally the enumeration, the enum for Linux. So this is not the only script, we have thousands of other, but out of them some are popular, out of which we used one of them to actually understand how to execute the script, what are the results that we are getting, how to read it, why we should enum for Linux than compared to the others. Now the differences we are going to talk again in the coming days, because enum for Linux is we are using for the first time. So once we use some other scripts, then we are going to compare it, why enum for Linux, what is the difference, when we should go for it, and all. So that was all about that day 10, don't be selfish, or we can say don't be selfish. The day 11, the again one more day for networking, with the headline the networking gnome, or the networking genome. So on this day we dive more into the nmap, because we have already had the introduction how it works in the previous days. So today we dived more into the nmap, and we had some more explanation, followed by which we were learning about the privilege escalation. Now in the privilege escalation we understood the concept, then we understood the types. So the types were horizontal and vertical privilege escalation. We understood what it is, when should we go for which type, and how it can be done. So this was all the conceptual, this was not practically done so far. After this we learned about SUID properties. It was with respect to the permission. So we know that there is a read, write, execute permissions. After that we had a permission called S permission. Now what is meant by S permission, and then we tried to exploit the S permission. So once we are done with the exploitation of suit, we understood what are the different pros and cons, and once we understood what are the pros and cons, then we went for the next script for the enumeration, which was like we have done enum for Linux. Now we have done a lin enum. So this was something, the script which is in Python. So now we are understanding how the response of the len enum is different for enum for len. Now, all this are just the script for enumeration, but just that we are exploring the script one by one, and we are understanding what are the different types of scripts, and what all is what differences do we see in the response of each type of script. So that's how we were exploring, and finally once we are done executing the scripts manually, then we understood, okay, so this much things can be automated, and once we do everything manually, then we understand, okay, how easy it is to get everything done with the script. So try to automate all the small stuff which is common across all the web frameworks, or across all the web servers. So and now again, before using even this script, we have to understand what all things to be considered in mind before using the tools, and what are the limitation of any script of any tool. So it's good to understand what is happening in the script, so that we can do it manually in some of the in some of the special cases of the website, like the some exceptional scenarios where the script cannot execute what we are intending it to learn. So that's why it is good to understand the intention of script. And yeah, that was all about this day, and we successfully understood what is the S permission, the SUID permission, what are the pros and cons, the enumeration script, and we finally done with all the practical implementation of this concept. So that was all about this day. As part of day 12, again a networking related thing, the headliner is ready set elf. So what we did here, we tried to understand what is CVE, and if you don't know, yes, go and refer. It's really a good and new concept. So we understood what is CVE, followed by we understood what is CGI. Now again, what are the scripts of CGI? Okay, now we know what is CVE, we know what is CGI and its scripts. After that, we tried to find out how can we find whether the server is having the CVE vulnerabilities or not. Okay, and before going to the next step, we try to understand, okay, if we want to know anything specific about CVE, like what are the libraries it is having, the vulnerabilities that a CVE is referred to, like description of CVE and all. We have various websites, or like in specifically we have searched and did some hands-on exploit DB. Okay, now after knowing about the CVE, exploit DB, and CGI, its scripts, then we try to have some hands-on as part of this challenge on a web server which is vulnerable to CGI script, and we used a tool called Metasploit. So after getting to know about Metasploit, we tried to use the CGI vulnerability, and we exploited the CGI vulnerability using Metasploit on the web server. So that was all about Ready Set Elf. As part of day 13, call for Christmas, there was nothing specifically like, okay, this is the concept that we have to learn. No. So on day 13, where is Rudolph, we tried to just had the practicals of what all concepts that we have learned so far. So as part of day 14, that is where's the Rudolph, there we have learned a new concept called enumeration. It's not new concept, but here we had practical usage of enumeration from the beginning to end. So we don't know anything about where is Rudolph, so we have to find out. So we tracked the social media website, we tracked every username, every possible content that is related to Rudolph, and finally after doing all that, also we did not get any useful data. Then after social media and all, we found some images, we explored Twitter, and the process went on. So finally the new concept then again we came across is the metadata of image. Okay, the xref data of image. So even like who took it, when took it, what kind of device was used, so all that kind of data with respect to image is called the xref data. So we tried to find out, gather the requirements of all the data related to the xref. Okay, it's not only about image, even the geolocation, the geographics of everything, all the metadata about the image we can see. Okay, so that's how from the beginning to end we did the enumeration, and we tried to find out, gather information as much as possible. So that's how the day 14 Where's Rudolph ended. As part of day 15, there's Python in my stocking. We learned everything from end to end about Python. It might be like what is Python, what is interpreter, what is the difference between the interpreter and the other components that we have. Okay, not only the conceptual or theoretical knowledge, then we try to execute scripts, we try to understand library, we try to understand how the imports work, and followed by which we had some learning about components like the if loops, for loops, while loops, breaks, increment, decrement, boolean, gates. So all those things we have learned in just one day, the day 15, which is known as this Python in my script. So day 15 we learn Python, and in the upcoming days we are actually using the Python. As part of day 16, the headline was where is Santa. So basically we were not able to find that. So we use some enumeration tools, and the techniques that we have already known about what we have learned in the streaks of the previous 25-day Christmas streaks. And after that, we continued with our enumeration, and finally at the end of our enumeration process, we for the enumeration we used Darbuster basically, and after that we tried to use some OSINT techniques to deduct some more content related to where is Santa on the same web server. So that's how on the where is Santa we used Darbuster, and we used some OSINT techniques. On day 17, reverse elf engineering. This is the first day again in the streak of 25 days Christmas that we are learning about something called low level language. We understood about x86-64, how it works, what are the instructions that are part of it, and how to read those instructions. And after understanding this level of language, then we tried to see how we can do the debugging, and then we also executed a program to verify okay our understanding is valid or not, and we had done the debug based on the memory values. Finally, after getting to know about everything, now we used radar too, because now we know what is happening behind the scenes. Now if it's a big applications we cannot decompile and we cannot understood about everything, so we use radar too, and in the console we are using the R2 command prompt. Now based on this R2 command prompt we decompiled the .NET application, and we basically extracted the password that was required to log in by the Santa. So that's how we understood, and we applied the practical implementation. So that was all about the low level language learning. Day 18, the bits of Christmas. So in this in the previous day we have seen how we can read the machine level instructions, and we have tried operating at very low level at the machine instructions level. But on coming to day 18, we are not going to into much depth, but we are decompiling a .NET application. Now what is .NET and all we have discussed, and where it is used, all that we have discussed on this day. But as part of the bits of Christmas day 18, we simply decoded the .NET application based on some tool. So the tool that we used is ILSpy, but we had one more option called .pick, which we have not used, but like whatever our objective was to decompile and extract the password, that we have done with the ILSpy tool. So that's the only tool we have used on that day. So this is the continuation of what we have learned on the previous day, on the day 17, the complete decompiling at the machine level. So we are not deep diving so much on day 18, but we are actually achieving our objective by decompiling a .NET application. So that was all what we have done as part of day 18, the bits of Christmas. Day 19, the naughty or nice list. So in this we used SSRF, we exploited SSRF vulnerability, but the main point was that we have done enumeration using SSH, and doing both of this we have completed a challenge where we were given whether we have to find that something was there as part of naughty list or nice list, and we have to delete one of them. So we simply went into the control panel and we deleted one of the lists completely from database. So that's how we exploited the SSRF. So that was all that we did as part of day 19, that is a naughty or nice list. So coming to the day 20, which is the continuation of the subdomain. Day 20, PowerShell to the rescue. So on this day basically we tried everything about PowerShell. We have never used PowerShell in this complete streak before. So on this day we understood what is PowerShell, where it should be used, its the concept, the theory behind it, the objective, the aim, how it started and all. So finally we understood, after understanding the theoretically everything about PowerShell, we tried to understand the different commands, the different flags, and it's for Windows or for Linux, what is it meant for, and when can we use PowerShell, in shell, in bash. So those kind of terms we correlated, and we tried to understand everything about PowerShell. So here we did not had any a challenge which required the PowerShell, but we used PowerShell to execute some commands and try to understand how it uncovers various flags and commands. So that was all about day 20 PowerShell. Day 21, time for some L forensics. So on this day we tried to
we first connected a victim using RDP. That's one of the protocol, and the tool we used was Reminia. There are a number of other tools, but we use Reminia. And yeah, after that, the intention of connecting and everything about the time for L forensics is to understand the concept called ADS. Now, what is ADS, where it is, and how it can be like exploited, or how it can be found, that all we did. So basically it's a property of a file which in Windows we don't see directly, so we use some PowerShell commands to identify what is ADS of a file. And ADS was giving us an endpoint where there was an executable, and that's how we executed that, and we accomplished our objective. So as part of this complete challenge, we tried to find out that okay, the hash of the file was something else and the original hash was something else. So it means there was something which was altered, so the hash of the file was different. So we went to the ADS endpoint and then we executed some file. Based on that we got based on that we moved ahead in the challenge, and finally we were able to restore our files to the original version. So that's how we got our original files back, even after getting the malware affected, or I can say encrypted. And so we basically recovered our old files using the ADS endpoint. So that was all about the time for some ELF forensics. Day 22, ELF McEager becomes CyberELF. So on this day we try to understand about encoding, decoding, encrypting, decrypting, and all such stuff. So all this we already know something conceptually, some parts theoretically, but what we did on this day is we used a tool called CyberChef. Okay, so there the most popular component that we found was magic. Now what is all this tool like we are stuck in some place where we don't know what is the hash. Like we have a tool called hash identifier, but again for different encryption, for different decoding, we use different tools. So that's again a distracting from our regular objective. So what we did as part of this CyberChef is like we for every concept, for encoding, decoding, encryption, decryption, hash, dehash, we are going only to one tool, that is called CyberChef. Now it's available to be used locally and on the website as well. So we just give okay, this is the sequence that I want the operation to be performed for the given value, and then I simply bake it. So the components that we are giving are all becomes a recipe. That is, let's say first I want to decode using base64 URL, then I want to create a hash of it, that I want to apply another algorithm for encryption. So I will have all this list and I'll call this list as a recipe, and once I have the recipe I'll go for the baking. So here that kind of correlation between the terminologies is present, but overall the tool is good because we have everything at one place and in a nicely formatted UI. So we did some hands-on on this, and we finally completed the channel by encoding, decoding various values that we are getting on the way. So that was all about day 22. Cyber elf becomes cyber something of that sort, but that was the end of day 22. Day 22, the green strikes again. So on this day we tried some hands-on on some Windows components specific to Windows. It's a task scheduler, disk management, VSS, that is the shadow copy. So there we talked about the importance of backups and how to recover that. So as part of the challenge, our files got attacked by a malware and we were not able to receive our original file. So what we did is we basically used our VSS, we tried to find out the hidden drive using the disk management, and we have seen like okay, malware is what kind of malware it is, what it is doing in the task scheduler, and when it is scheduled. So basically we understood about triggers and all this stuff. So as part of the challenge we finally got our files from the VSS, and there we had an option with which we can see okay, there was a backup which was already taken. So we used the previous version, like restore previous version option, and we were able to fetch our original files back. So the aim of this day was to get hands-on about different Windows component like disk management, task scheduler, VSS, and two more things like this. So that was all about the day 23. So day 24, the trial before Christmas. We have like did so much work in all these 23 days. Now the day comes when our elf is finally getting a gift, but again there is some challenge that we have to earn the gift before we actually get it. So as part of this 24th day, the day before Christmas, what we have learned is we have learned about the privilege escalation using the container. So we used LXD, LXC, what are these terms, and what kind of manager is it, and we have correlated these terminologies with our npm, pip, maven. So we have discussed about lxd, lxc, and we did privilege escalation using containers. So after that we have used some online sites for cracking the hash, and followed by which we did some client side filtering in the Bob suite. Okay, and the second and the most crucial topic that we have learned is shell stabilization and shell upgrading. So we have seen when the connection is formed using netcat, I mean netcat listener, or any kind of connection is formed between the victim and the target, the shell is not very stabilized. Suppose you unintentionally press Control Z or unintentionally press Control C, the shell is getting terminated. It is like exiting, and we cannot use up keys, down keys, forward keys, tabs, and all these kinds. So this kind of situation we call it as unstabilized shell. So we executed some commands. We finally made whatever the shell that we are getting as part of the connection. We stabilized it, we upgraded it. So all this commands, the client side filters, and finally upgrading is what we have done as part of day 24, the day before Christmas. So that was the whole summary of this 25 days Christmas tricks. Hope you like the summary, and if you like my explanation, please do subscribe, click on notification bell, and share with other people who are interested or who are started their journey with the Try Hack Me. So Advent of Cyber 2 about the Christmas trick is really interesting. So from the beginning we have started from the very naive stage, and by the end I think we are on a different level, not a pro, but definitely we have learned many tools, we have learned many new concepts. So I hope the complete stick was very helpful, and any modification, any suggestions with respect to my explanation, or any doubts, any queries, please do mention that in comment section. And finally, if you think okay, there is this lab which could help all of newbie people like us, just mention that in comment section, that okay, this is something that we should do. So I'll definitely try to work on it, and if it's suitable, we'll make a demo on it as well. So that was all about the summary of the Advent of Cyber 2. Hope you liked it. Thank you.